The benefits of PSA screening have been disputed by the U.S. Preventive Service Task Force in 2011 when they issued a highly controversial recommendation against prostate screening for all men. This recommendation was supported by the results of the nationwide PLCO screening trial, which showed no significant survival advantage for men randomized to PSA screening relative to the study's controls. There are many glaring deficiencies in the PLCO study design that stack the deck against showing a survival benefit of PSA screening. What is not subject to vagaries of study design are mortality rates, and on this score, the facts are indisputable. Over the past decade in the U.S., we have seen a 40% decline in the death rate from prostate cancer attributable to PSA screening. The Task Force 2011 recommendation against PSA screening does not preclude healthcare providers from exercising their own clinical judgment. However, the government is now contemplating tightening the noose around those PSA screeners by economically penalizing healthcare providers who order PSA screening. We all recognize that PSA lacks specificity for detecting aggressive prostate cancer, which in turn leads to many unnecessary biopsies. Upwards of 70% of the 1 million biopsies performed annually in the U.S. show no cancer and simply expose men to unnecessary discomfort and risks. The standard of care has been to randomly biopsy the prostate under ultrasound guidance. The reason for this seemingly unsophisticated detection strategy is that ultrasound does not identify the site of disease. Since many men have insignificant prostate cancer, a random biopsy detects many insignificant cancers leading to overtreatment, while failing to detect aggressive cancers leads to undertreatment. It is now the responsibility of the urology community to embrace strategies to minimize the unnecessary morbidity and costs associated with unnecessary biopsies and treatment. So what's the sensible solution? There are tools available today to address the limitations of PSA screening and the downstream consequences of unnecessary biopsies and treatment. I've adopted in my own practice both multiparametric MRI imaging and the 4K score test, a blood test in order to identify those men with an elevated PSA who are most likely to harbor aggressive prostate cancer. When both these tests show a low risk of aggressive disease, prostate biopsy is deferred. At NYU Langone, biopsy is avoided in about 1/3 of men referred with an elevated PSA. Unlike prostate ultrasound, multiparametric MRI is a reliable tool to identify the sites of significant prostate cancer. NYU Langone has pioneered using complex computer software to target our prostate biopsies into areas of the gland most likely to harbor aggressive disease based on the MRI. If the government indeed institutes penalties for performing PSA screening, it will exacerbate decreasing trends in PSA screening, which in turn will prove to be a great disservice for many men whose suffering and/or death from prostate cancer would have otherwise been preventable. Certainly not the direction we want to go.